I'm going to show you some planter hacks using items you can find at your local Dollar Tree. For this project, we're using one of Dollar Tree's plastic bins. It has a beautiful basket weave design and 2 handles. We're going to take this outside and give it 2 coats of white flat spray paint. You paint yours whatever color you like. I like to start on the bottom, add 1 coat, let that dry, then I can flip it over and get the inside and add the 2nd coat to the outside. Once you have allowed it to thoroughly dry, this is how it's looking. You could leave it just like this, but I want to add some twine just to the top part of each of the handles. I started by hot gluing it on the inside and then feeding it through the handle. So I did pull enough twine off of my spool to do both handles. This only takes about 5 minutes on each side, and you only have to add the hot glue at the beginning and the end. To me, it just gives it a much higher end look. I think this twine looks perfect with this white basket and that basket weave design. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other handle. Because I'm going to be planting some real flowers in mine, I will be flipping this over and drilling some holes in the bottom for drainage. But if you're just going to put artificial flowers in there, you can skip this step. Once I have those in there, it is time to take it back outside and plant some flowers in there. I'm going to start off by adding my potting mix. I'm not going to fill it all the way to the top. I want to leave some room for my flowers. I chose to plant violas in these. And when you take them out of the container, if you've never planted flowers before, which I'm sure most of you have, you want to gently loosen the roots at the bottom so that when you plant it, the roots will reach into the soil and anchor your plant or flower. I wanted to give my flowers room to grow, so I only planted 3 in this basket and then topped it off with a little bit more potting soil. I think this is absolutely gorgeous, but I would love to know what you guys think. For our next project, you're going to need one of Dollar Tree's garden hook stakes. I measured down about 12 inches and placed a piece of painter's tape. Then holding it with a pair of pliers, take your other hand and bend it up to form like a crease right there. So we'll be able to bend it back and forth and break it in that position. So once you have it bent over completely, you'll just need to work it back and forth about 4 or 5 times and it will break right off. Just be very careful, and you may want to wear gloves doing this because this is metal. You don't want it to cut you. Now that we have the 2 pieces apart, we're only going to use the top part, which has the hook. We're also using one of Dollar Tree's metal pails. We're going to drill 4 holes on one side, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. Again, you may want to wear gloves for this because it is metal. Just be really, really careful. When I was finished doing that, I made sure to clean all of that up with my little mini vacuum. Then we're going to take 2 zip ties. These came from Dollar Tree, and you're going to feed those in to one of the holes at the top and one at the bottom, and then go ahead and loop it back through the hole right beside it. We are going to be setting that metal stake down inside of it, so it's easier to go ahead and pull the zip ties to make them much smaller, so you'll be able to slide that hook right down in between the 2, tighten it up, and then cut off your excess zip tie. Now, I did not drill holes in the bottom of this planter because I'm going to use this potted flower that I purchased at Lowe's. It fits perfectly right inside of this metal pail. And we're also using one of these battery operated lights from Dollar Tree that has this little shade. I've already painted it black. It was silver or gold. And then you can hang this right on top of your hook. For our next project, we're using one of Dollar Tree's plastic Easter baskets. It has a beautiful design on the front, and I already love the color, so we're not going to be painting it. I'm going to go ahead and remove the handle, and I chose to cover mine with a white clothesline. You can find this at Walmart, but you could also use nautical rope from Dollar Tree. They have the white color. I like the clothesline for this one because it is a lot thinner and it won't be as bulky and thick. I'm going to wrap the entire handle with this, and I only use the hot glue at the beginning and the end. Periodically, I did go through and make sure I pushed them all tightly together so there weren't any gaps and the handle is completely covered aside from where we need to snap it back onto the basket. Now, the basket itself is not as thick as I would like for it to be a hanging basket to plant actual flowers in. So I chose to go with artificial flowers, and I'm going to use a pool noodle and cut that down and hot glue that into the basket so that we'll be able to use that to put our artificial flowers in. I added some green moss as a filler around the sides and on the top, and this green moss came from Hobby Lobby, but Dollar Tree does sell this periodically throughout the seasons. Now we can go ahead and pop our handle back on there and decorate it. I'm going to decorate mine with some gorgeous white roses, and I believe they came from Walmart, and place those down into our pool noodle. Now occasionally I do pull the handle up to make sure that it's going to go above the flowers, and it also had a little bit of baby's breath in that bundle. This is how it turned out, and I would love to know what you guys think. For this project, you'll need 8 of Dollar Tree's tumbling tower pieces. Take 2 of those. We're going to add some wood glue to the end of one piece and set that on the end of the other piece so it is shaped sort of like an L. Make sure to wipe any of your excess glue off, and we'll do that for the remaining tumbling tower pieces until you have a set of 4. Once the glue is tacky enough, you're going to take 2 of those, so they should be looking like this. You're going to place them opposite of each other so that the pieces that are standing up are on the outside, and we're going to leave a little bit of space right in the middle. So take one and add some wood glue on 2 of those little sides on the end, and then the one opposite of that, add a little bit of wood glue to the ends of those. Then push them all together, again leaving that space right in the middle. Then let your glue set up for a couple of hours. Now I'm going to use some 3-inch painted terracotta pots that I found at Walmart. I believe they were a little over $1 a piece, but you could use the terracotta pots from Dollar Tree. I'm going to fill those in with some potting soil, and I decided that these succulents would be perfect for these little planters. They're called Peridot Passion, and you can find those at Lowe's. They are just so gorgeous. I'm going to plant one in each of the pots and then add a little bit more potting soil right to the top. I think these would make perfect gifts for anyone. Now that the glue has set on those tumbling tower pieces, you could stain or paint this the color of your choice. You could even add a piece to the bottom if you want to make it a little bit more secure. But this is perfect to fit one of those terracotta pots right in the center and makes a perfect plant stand. I found these thick plastic square bowls at Dollar Tree. They had a clear one and a gray one. They have an absolutely gorgeous design on this. For this one, I'm going to use the clear one. And this is the barcode, just in case you guys need it. It has these little spots on the bottom, which I thought would be perfect as a guide to add some large wood beads for feet on this. And I'm going to attach those using some E6000. Now this is completely optional. If you don't want feet on the bottom of your planter, just skip this step. Allowing that time enough for the E6000 to set up, I'm going to be using some of Rust-Oleum's multicolored textured paint. This is the color on the cap. It gives a gorgeous, realistic texture to it. I'm going to add one coat of the spray paint on the bottom, let that set up, and then I'll add my second coat, including those wood beads. Then once I allow that to completely dry, I can flip that over and repeat that on the inside, adding 2 coats. I let that dry for several hours and it is absolutely gorgeous. It looks like a real piece of pottery. Now I need some drainage holes in the bottom because I am going to plant some real succulents in here. So I just used my drill with drill bit to go ahead and add those in the bottom and made sure I vacuumed and got any of that extra plastic pieces off. Added in my potting soil, and I'm using some succulents that I found at Lowe's. This large one is an 11 ounce and it is called Arctic Ice, and these cute little small green ones are called Sedum pork and beans. So I added 1 to each of the corners and I absolutely love how this one turned out. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you have a favorite, let me know in the comments section down below. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Those links are in my description box below. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Please take care, and I'll see you guys next time.